Songs like Say You Love Me and Little Lies are still part of our playlist to this day, and one of the absolute geniuses behind these recordings was Christine McVie. She had been a part of Fleetwood Mac since 1970, and all 8 members of the band have been constantly busy creating magic. And for this reason, the singer's death was a pretty sorrowful moment for the world. So let's reminisce about the songbird we just lost. First off, how did she die? A statement was put up on Facebook on behalf of her family, where they revealed with a heavy heart to everybody that the Fleetwood Mac band member had just passed away. The exact date of her death was said to be the 30th of November, and apparently she left this world following a short illness. We're relieved about the fact that she went so peacefully. According to the family, she hadn't been sick for long, and that's how we all remember her, as the healthy, warm person that she always was. What's more is that the family politely asked for some privacy at this point, considering how much pain they're dealing with. They also wanted all of us to keep her in our hearts, and honestly, she is always present within us. She has become a permanent part of our lives with her art, and that just isn't something you could forget in a hurry. The family wanted everybody to think of her as an incredibly strong and beautiful human being because of how loved she was on an international level. We can't even imagine how much they miss her right now. But as we all know, the artist changed millions of lives with her work. All of us are severely impacted by her passing, but the ones closest to her feel it on a much deeper level, especially her band. Up next is Fleetwood Mac's beautiful tribute. On the day she passed away, her band decided to give a statement talking about her death. They started by expressing their lack of words and the immense sadness they felt after having lost the singer-songwriter, clarifying how extraordinary she was. They used the word special, and we feel that that is exactly the word for her. And obviously, no one could ignore just how talented the woman was with her songwriting skills and her ability to express herself through her art. Their statement also continued along the same lines, as they talked about how she was probably the best person to have as a bandmate. Not just that, but she was a best friend to everybody there. Their gratitude for having her in their life knew no bounds, and they also mentioned just how cherished her presence and contributions to their lives. Not to mention, the memories that she gave to all of them are irreplaceable. The heartfelt note had us close to tears, simply because of how gently they all talked about her and how well it went with her personality. If this has made you sad, wait till you look at what her closest band members individually had to say. Finally, Nick's and Fleetwood's poetic remembrance. Nick's posted a handwritten note on Instagram, paying tribute to her best friend in the whole world ever since 1975, grieving the fact that she got to know of her sickness too late, which is why she couldn't reach London to meet her one last time. She only got to know that she was sick 3 days before her death, at which point everybody told them to wait. She wanted to be in the same city as her very badly, just so that they could look at each other, but that never happened. Fleetwood also wrote about how the band member has left the people on Earth to listen to the remainder of her beautiful sounds while she's gone, bringing us all a step closer to love. In fact, he mentioned how the late singer's voice reminded everybody of the love that already surrounds them, and how it is something that we are gifted in this life. In the end, he mentioned how Christine was a part of his heart, and with her gone, he could never stay the same. All of this aside, we're envying the nurturing and healthy bond that the band members had with each other, because we could never imagine somebody writing so beautifully for us after we die. But we now know that her name will stay alive through her greatest friends, who deeply miss her and regret her absence more than we can imagine. Now, moving on to the singer's top contributions to the band. First off, we have Believe Me, From Mystery to Me. If you're not familiar with the band from when they didn't have Buckingham or Nick's, Believe Me would surprise you quite a bit. It's a McVie track from their 1973 album, and the opening chords of the song contain her crystalline piano performance, which at first seems to be setting the stage for a sorrowful ballad like Songbird, but you simply have to wait a bit, and a few moments into the song, you're going to be caught off guard by its upbeat nature. So it's a ruse, which is pretty unusual in the songwriter's previous compositions, but the freshness of this experimental piece is what has made this so memorable for everybody. Within a minute, the lovely piano is replaced with a lively Southern-style rocker, and the star undoubtedly made a cheeky move with this decision. But once you move past the shock of the change, the rhythm takes over. She sings about wanting attention from a lover while hoping she might break free, but this time she sounds defiant, as if she is right on the cusp of triumph. And not only was this song an absolute banger, but it also set the band onto a whole new track where they started evolving their style towards a more pop and rock sounding genre. In the coming years after this song came out, there would be numerous songs from the band that sound just just as revolutionary, and it's all thanks to the late singer's crazy talented mind. Coming up, we've got Don't Stop from Rumors. If you liked what we just talked about, we've got way more of the renowned instances of cheery introductory piano lines, and if there were a list, this song from their 1977 album would top it. The riff that starts it off is one of the band's most recognizable hits, and one of the singer's most passionate, lyrically uplifting tunes. It's one of the band's very few songs with a cheerful sheen that complements the content, and since we were getting songs we could constantly jam to, nobody could complain. All thanks to Buckingham's guest vocals, even the songwriting and the composition worked out exceptionally well. His direct, insistent rasp captured the spirit of the song's forward-thinking demand, leaving the light singer to deliver its more mournful sections. At its most fundamental, the contrast only improved what is already a well-crafted pop song. And not only is this a classic McVie song, but it's also a classic FM song. We've been hearing it everywhere for the longest time, but probably nobody stopped to think about the work that went into it. The starkness of the two vocalists, the lyrics, and the overall funky beat made this one of the most unique pieces of its time. Moving on, it's Think About Me from Tusk. This one is the second McVie composition you'll hear if you listen to the band's groundbreaking, contentious, and revered 1979 masterwork, Tusk. That album really made people go crazy, both in a good and bad way. Just like her subsequent single, Brown Eyes, this song was created from the singer's typical point of view while she is composing songs about relationships. Instead of wailing about her doubts from the trenches of an ongoing relationship, she directs her focus to a new possible love partner, wanting and hoping for him to think about her even if they've not yet met. This turned out to be her catharsis, as the singer didn't seem like one to wait around for someone who isn't prioritizing her. She gets straight to work, finding a replacement for a lover who isn't fit for her, and that's just how she sings. Regardless, this song was extremely ahead of its time, and still lives in our hearts. Finally, we've got Never Forget from Tusk again. This song is sometimes ignored when evaluating that massive album, and we'd never understand why. It picks up the toe-tapping energy of the title track but trades the tribal drumming, yells, and brass band joy for sparkling, buzzing guitars that evoke memories of the band's first record together. The closing song to this world-famous album is a masterpiece that manages to combine all of its musical elements in the most nostalgic way possible. In that way, it is a wonderful closer, picking up the tone of the record while reminding us of all the qualities that gave the band its very first identity. The singer's vocals mesh well with the country-tinged orchestration here, and if you haven't heard it in a bit, it's honestly worth revisiting. And that's a wrap, folks. What do you miss about Christine McVie the most? Tell us in the comments below. And as always, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more updates about your favorite stars. See you in the next video.